Barichuni l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzeichem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch.
Please rise.
Page 2. Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik Shel Shabbat.
Page 16. We welcome the Sabbath with selections from the Psalms, beautiful poems, thousands of years old, that we can find in the Hebrew Bible, Psalms that remind us of all the ways we can sing praises to God for the beauty of creation, for the beauty of this world, and for the beauty of this day of Shabbat.
Zamru l'Adonai, Zamru l'Adonai b'chinor, Zamru l'Adonai b'chinor v'kol zimra, Yai lai lai lai, Yai Am hayam umlo tevel v'yoshveva ne'arot yimchochav yachad harim yiranenu ne'arot yimchochav yachad harim yiranenu zamru l'Adonai zamru Yai, lai, lai, lai.
Page 20, Lecha Dodi, we welcome the Sabbath bride. Page 28.
Lai, lai,
page 32, Ahavat Olam. We give thanks to God for the gift of God's love, which is, Jews, we understand as the gift of learning, the gift of Torah, the gift of wisdom. That's how God expresses God's love to the Jewish people and to humanity.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Vukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadata, Otanu limadata. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu, uvkumeinu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, u'ba'em negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 41, a kavanah before Michamocha. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
כיפת אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני. גאל ישראל.
Page 42 and 43, Hashkivenu, our prayer that reminds us to try to remember that it's because of moments like this, moments of rejuvenation, moments of rest, moments of gathering together, that we can have the energy to go out into the world renewed to make the world a better place. And so we need to treasure these moments and make time for these moments in our lives so that we can lay down in peace and rise up in strength.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Try that with me. It's on page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Ashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Ashkivenu, Leshalom. Let there be love.
And understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our
Ashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Page 253, we offer a special prayer of healing for loved ones and friends who are in need of our love, in need of our strength. We remind them and we remind ourselves that no one needs to suffer alone. Page 253.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Our Amidah begins on page 46. It continues to page 62. We recite our Amidah silently. On the right-hand side of the page, you can find the traditional words of the central prayer of our service on the left-hand side. Kavanot, readings inspired by those words. Please rise if you're able, and at the end of your silent Amidah, you can be seated. thank you. When you hear harmony and when everything comes together like that, it reminds you how beautiful our world can be, but it can also remind you of how much work there is to be done, because it doesn't sound like that all the time. It doesn't feel like that all the time. So when we offer these prayers, one for our country and one for our homeland, Medinat Yisrael, let's think of ways that we can bring more harmony and we can bring more love and understanding and beauty into the world. Page 258, please join with me at the bottom of the page. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen. Page 259, a prayer for Israel.
Avinu Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'go'alo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Tzmichat Geulatenu.
Together, O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there.
Amen. Avinu Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'go'alo. Amen. Selah. Amen. Selah.
Good evening. I know it might sound a little passé for 2019, but if it's all right, I'd like to talk about God tonight. Is that okay? Okay, so we had one vote. That's good. You see, a few weeks ago, I was meeting with a wedding couple. The bride had just left for the restroom, and the husband leaned in rather sheepishly to say, "You know, Rabbi, we don't really go to services or anything. That whole God thing it just doesn't work for us. Neither of us really believe in some old guy in the sky watching out for everything we do." So later, I told the groom that I don't believe in some old guy in the sky watching out for everything we do either. But it literally took a few meetings to persuade him that we can be Jewish without necessarily worrying about God tallying every choice we make and formulating an appropriate reward or punishment. And I wondered for a while why he was so attached to this vision of the judgmental God sitting on high, counting every single action that we take. But then my clergy partners and I had the opportunity to review our upcoming high holiday Machzor. And that's when I realized, well, gee, this is the vision of God we kind of present every year at the biggest event that most Jews come to. And to be fair, that's ignoring lots of layers of subtlety, but I remember myself as a 12-year-old boy I paid attention to exactly as many prayers as my parents made me pay attention to. And if I had sort of hopped off the Jewish train at my bar mitzvah, as far too many of our young children do, I know that's not going to be the case with you, Ryan, so don't worry, then I probably would think that God was some old guy in the sky counting every action and waiting to formulate a reward or punishment. And to be fair, the idea is not without precedent. In fact, in this week's Parsha Bechukotai, which is the last of the Parshiot in the book of Leviticus, we meet a God that feels very much like the God that sits on high and checks off every single action that you're doing. In fact, the God that we find in this week's Parsha doesn't just seem judgmental. The God almost seems vengeful, merciless even. Here's where we meet this God, if you'll follow with me. If you follow my laws and observe my commandments, then I will send rain in the proper season. You shall know bounty and peace. But if you reject my laws, if you spurn my rules, then I shall wreak misery upon you. Threats of famine, pestilence, exile, war soon follow in increasing severity, implying that we ought to follow God's rules precisely, or else. Follow God's rules, you get rewarded. Fail to follow God's rules, and you get punished. Now, for some people, this rather judgmental but kind of simplistic image of God is comforting. It provides a sense of confidence that our actions always have significance. And it suggests that someone is actually watching over things to make sure that we get our just rewards. Not necessarily bad, especially if we consider ourselves good people, whatever that means. For many of us, however, this image of God is a little appalling. After all, it's kind of a pitiless insult to the countless innocents we know suffer through no fault of their own. And in some ways, it's a ludicrous applaud of those enemies of humanity and morality who manage to escape justice. And yet, we can't deny that our Torah, in this week's very Parsha, presents just such an image. And so what do? Faced with a vision of God that many of us can't really countenance, we might be moved to simply dismiss it as a mere anachronism, one of so many challenges we encounter while attempting to bring the teachings of an ancient tradition into the present. But if we dismiss it entirely out of hand, we might just miss some of the more timeless wisdom that our ancestors actually had to bring us. What if this perplexing description of divine reward and punishment left to us by our ancestors isn't so much a depiction of God's intent, so much as God's capabilities? What if these warnings aren't descriptions of what God will do to us should we fail to heed our tradition's teachings, but rather descriptions of what could happen to us should we fail to heed our tradition's teachings? There's a brilliant man, much more brilliant than me. His name's John Levinson. He is an author and a professor at the Harvard Divinity School, and he suggests that for the Israelites who wrote this book of the Torah, the book of Leviticus, this was exactly what they believed. For them, God was not an all-powerful judge, but an ally of humanity in its quest to create a fair and just civilization that benefited all its members. For them, the intricate sacrificial system that's detailed in the earliest chapters of the book of Leviticus, coupled with the code of morals that we find in the middle of the book, created an ordered and just society. And that enabled God to provide these tangible blessings that God promises to the people. But without that ordered and just society, Without humanity doing its part, then God's influence waned, and the divine blessings promised to the people could no longer be realized. According to their vision, the God of judgment becomes a God that actually relies upon us as partners in achieving the divine vision. Do our part, and God can do God's part. Don't do our part, and even God can't safeguard us from the consequences. To a certain extent, this makes a bit more sense. Has anyone noticed that the more we neglect the earth, the more the earth seems to remind us that it's in need of repair? Or that the more we neglect one another, the more the foundations of our city, our state, and our country seem to weaken? Or that the less tolerantly and civilly we act, the fewer goals we seem to realize as both a species and a civilization? For the Jews of Leviticus, realizing our dream of a fair and just society involved many different details, some of which might no longer be relevant to us. I haven't seen a good animal sacrifice lately, and I hope I don't. But what else did Leviticus teach us was essential towards creating and sustaining the world that would enable God to be our partner? Don't strip your grapevines clean or gather the grapes that fall off of the vines. Leave them for the poor and for those foreigners who live among you. Don't steal. Don't tell lies. Don't cheat others. Don't make fun of the deaf. Don't cause a blind person to stumble. Be fair and impartial in judgment, no matter who you're judging. Love your neighbor as yourself. Every 50 years, proclaim liberty throughout the land. Return the enslaved and the impoverished to a place of living, giving them a chance to recover from their losses. These are far more interesting ideas. And through the enactment of these ideas, according to our ancestors, God was able to intervene, making sure that the society that enacted these laws was blessed with rain in the proper season, peace and tranquility, the types of things I think we kind of all strive for. And yet, this image of God isn't comforting either, because it places a lot of responsibility upon us. It's our job to make sure that people are treated fairly. It's our job to make sure that the society in which we live holds up everyone and make sure that no one is excluded. It's our job to make sure that the poor and the oppressed are taken care of. It's our job to be kind to one another and find love in our hearts for every single soul we encounter. When we do that, then we don't have to worry about the God of judgment, because whether or not the God of judgment exists, we have the God of compassion on our side. And so, for this Shabbat, and I hope for many more, we are able to strive to create this society, a society in which God's blessings can shine upon us and our children. Shabbat Shalom.
We have a joyous celebration that we are going to celebrate tomorrow. Ryan Moss, son of our congregation, is going to become bar mitzvah. Ryan, come up and lead us in Kiddush. But there are probably it's grape juice. There are probably some other simchas in the congregation. For example, maybe there's a birthday that someone's celebrating this week.
I am celebrating a birthday.
Cantor is celebrating a birthday. L'chaim. Does anyone else have a birthday? Yeah? Mark has a birthday? Happy birthday. Would you mind standing up? We're all going to stand in a moment. Happy birthday. Stay standing. Stay standing. Any anniversaries? Yes? Stand, Marcia. Mazel tov. Stay standing. A new baby in the family, a grandchild. Anybody get pregnant lately? Anybody get a new job? Okay. Why don't we all stand up? Because There's so many things that we want to celebrate, and Ryan's going to help lead us in Kiddush on page 5. Come stand at the middle.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav ve'atzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho ve'avav ratzon inchilanu, zikaron lemaseh ve'reishit, ki hu yom tehilo lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki banu bacharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol amim, v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava u'ratzon inchatanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. L'chaim.
Happy birthday. Mazel tov. Please remain standing, page 282. If you're under the age of bar or bat mitzvah, would you come up and help us open the ark doors? Because they're heavy, and I need your help. Come on up.
Aleinu l'shameach la'adon hakol, l'teichenu la'le'otzei bereshit, shelo asanu kigoyim ha'aratzot, ve'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo samchaltenu lahem, ve'or aleinu kechol avodah, va'anachnu morim, u'mishorim u'modim, lifnei Eloheinu ha'achim, ha'kadosh baruch hu. V'nehemar, Yahya Adonai, melech kol ha'aretz, hayom yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Page 290. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. If you are in a period of Shiva or Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning, please rise. If you're in the first year of mourning the loss of a loved one, please rise. If this Shabbat is the Yortzeit, the anniversary of the death of a loved one, please rise. And if you care to, as my gaze meets yours, you can say the name of your loved one aloud so that we can join you in your remembering. If it's your custom to rise in solidarity with the mourners, please do so. We join together on page 294 with Kaddish Yatom, words that give praise and thanks to God for the gift of those loved ones whom we miss so much. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'alma divrach chirutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, b'gala u'v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal. Shemei Kudusha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran v'yama v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who makes peace in the high places make peace for us here on earth, for us and all Israel and all humanity. And let us say amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. We have some wonderful members of our board of directors. They're all wonderful, but we have some of our wonderful members of our board of directors here this evening. And if you're on our board, would you please, not if you are board, but if you're on our board, would you please raise your hand up high, like you mean it. Because after services, someone might care to come up to you and say, I'd like to learn more about how I could get involved at Stephen Wise Temple. I have a question about our bylaws. Could you tell me about the governance committee? These kinds of questions that Jews ask so often. And so come and say hello to one of our members of the board of directors. And if you're new to Stephen Wise Temple, like if this is one of your first 5 times you've ever been here, just raise your hand up proudly. Don't be shy. So look around and you see some folks whose hands are up. Make sure to come up afterwards and introduce yourself and welcome them to the congregation. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. We have Shavuot, as I mentioned, coming up next Saturday night. We hope you'll join in. We have our annual, Our
Congregational meeting?
Our congregational meeting is coming up, Madam President, June 11th, right around the corner. You're going to want to be there to help, to learn more about the year that has passed, and also to get updates on all sorts of things and pass the budget. I think we're giving away food too that night. Yes, so you might want to come for that. Want to say words of gratitude to our intern, Sarah Anderson, a daughter of our congregation, who will be with us this summer, helping to lead services and doing all sorts of wonderful work with our Lamb Media Center, working closely with Cantor Emma and Cantor Nate. Happy birthday to Cantor Emma. Thank you so much. And to Jeffrey Stern, Maestro David Cates, thank you. Whenever you're with us, you lift our souls with your music. Thank you all for being here this evening. And Cantor, we're going to close with, it's Cantor's choice. What are we going to close with?
Let's close on page 11, Ki Eshmera Shabbat. Ki Eshmera Shabbat.